Today I'm going to be scouting the Perkins game land here in Davie County. The property can be found on the south side of 801 between Dutchman's Creek Road and Riverview Road. It's a very large tract of land. It's a little over 1,000 acres. There's a little portion of it on the north side, but we're going to be focusing on the large mass of the land on the south side of 801. The property has several creeks that flow through it down towards the river with quite a bit of river access. So we're going to get down there and see what we can find. There is a small portion on the southeast side of the property that is permit only. It looks like it's a duck impoundment refuge, so we're going to stay away from that, but we're going to focus on all these creeks and bottom areas, and then try to find some trails and see where they lead us to, see if we can find some good sign, and see what this property has to offer. So I'll report back here shortly on what I find. Alright, so here's where we're going to start today. I parked at the dead end of Dutchman's Creek Road. You'll come up to a gate, and there's this road, this dirt road here goes on down into the property. So we're going to get down here and see what we can find on each side of the road. You can see over here to my right here that there's some of the wildlife signs. So we're going to get started here and see what we can find. Alright, I'm not too far down this trail, but I'm already seeing a lot of good areas for pigs. There's a little bit of a swampy area right down in there. It's looking pretty good so far, but like I say, I haven't found any sign just yet, but found some good areas, so we're going to check some of these places out and see what we can find. So I decided to get off the dirt road up there and come down here towards Dutchman's Creek to see if I could find any sign. I've seen some tracks, but no signs of any rooting just as of yet. But interesting enough, if you look out here in the middle of the creek, there's a buck laying out there dead. All I saw was his antler sticking up. Alright, I decided to stay alongside of Dutchman's Creek and just follow it down through this little, it's really swampy down through here, really good. Lots of good game trails down through here, and they're used frequently. I mean, it's really beat down, so I followed them down through here, came up to another one of those creeks that I was telling you about that runs through the property, and right on the other side I started seeing some rooting. So looks like we're on to some good spots down here. I mean, this is some really good property down in here, so hopefully the sign starts to pick up now. Alright, so I was able to find a way to get across that creek back there where I saw the rooting, and it was pretty fresh. It looked like it had been done either last night or yesterday, and I decided to follow some of these trails. And I mean, there's several of these trails that are, I mean, they've been used a lot, so I'm gonna follow some of these. This one here leads up into a field that's still on the property. I'm gonna follow it and see kind of where it looks like they're going. Alright, so I followed that trail. It kind of skirted along the side of the creek over here, and followed it right up into that field I was telling you about, and lo and behold, as soon as you get up in here, you see where they've been in here just working the ground up, just tearing up everything out in here. It's some really good sign. But alright, still working my way down alongside this field here, and there's just more and more of this root, and I'm seeing several turkey just ran off into that little strip of woods over there. Still seeing tracks, still seeing signs, so it's looking like a pretty good spot as well. Alright, so over there's where I saw that sign, and I decided to make my way straight across that field. It looks, according to the map, it looks like all this area down in here is the I guess the out of bounds zone, if you want to call it that. It's got a lot of fields. Over there's a river, but I'm gonna play it safe and stay on this side. Again, that's that area I told you it was permit only, and you had to stay out of it. So I just cut straight across the field over here to this road. I'm gonna walk this road and see if I can't find some tracks and some trails, and cut down into here. It looks like on the map that this is still part of the legal hunting area. So I'm gonna see if I can find any sign down in these little low-laying areas. Just as soon as I got up that trail, I started seeing some pig tracks leading down into the woods, and came down in here, and it's just a real low area. There's some water down in here, a couple little areas where it looks like there's flowing water, but it stays wet most of the time, which is really good for us. There's trails all out through down in here. All right, so I kept following those trails, and it led me back to that first creek we came up on, where we saw a lot of the sign where it intersects into Dutchman's Creek. And I picked up a pretty good trail, and it led me back out here to the main road where we parked, way up that way. And then I picked up this trail here with lots of tracks in it. So I'm gonna follow this instead of staying on the road. I'm gonna follow this trail and see where it takes me. It looks like it leads me over towards the other parking area off of Riverview. So I'm gonna hit this and see what I can find in between. Alright, so I stayed on that game trail from the road down there. I mean, it could be a hunter's footpath, but I mean, either way, there was lots of pig and deer tracks in it the whole way up through here. And I came up to this little bit of like an intersection. Got one trail going that way, and then one going up through here. This one here goes back up through the middle of the property, and this one heads back down towards the river. So I'm gonna hit this trail and see if we can't get down to the section of the property on the river that's legal to hunt, and see what we can find on the way there. So I stuck to that game trail where I was seeing some pig tracks down this little gully area, and they led me up here to this field. Looks like the field is going to be the out of bounds boundary. There's some game signs on that side of the trees facing down into here, and over there's the main road coming in from Riverview. So I'm gonna get over there, pick up the rest of the game land boundary, and see what kind of sign I can see while I'm working my way down towards the river. Alright, so you'll see on the map that there's a beginning of a marked trail, and it goes for maybe 50 feet and then stops. And then so I started cutting through to where this piece of the property hooks up to the river, and came up on this really good trail right here. Lots of pig tracks in it leading up through here, and just on the other side over there is the river. So I'm gonna follow this trail and see exactly where it takes me. You end up going through a bunch of thick stuff at the edge of a big field filled with kudzu, and it brings you up into this thick stuff. And as soon as I got up in here, started seeing some pig droppings. Pretty fresh, maybe a day or two old, but there's trails leading all down through here. So I'm gonna pick the best one and see where it leads to. So that trail leads you down that hill, that real steep hill right there, right down in here to the river bottom, where it flattens out and starts looking like the area that we're used to. So I'm gonna work the edge here alongside in between the hill there and the river, and see what I can come up with. Alright, so I followed that main game trail down along through this little river bottom portion. It's really thick back through there, but it opens up right here, and you come to the edge of the game land property on the edge of this field right here. You can see the sign back there behind me, and then there's one right there on that tree. So right here looks like it's going to be the boundary line. Wouldn't be a bad spot to set up here during turkey season, especially right through this little area here. There's lots of tracks, and there's some rooting right here on the edge of the field. So of course this is out of bounds, but you've got all this where they're moving through, so it'd be a pretty good ambush location. All right, so I'm gonna work my way up this property line and try to find a good way to get back down in here because it looks like a pretty good location. Right here on the corner there's a good game trail leading up into the woods right the direction I need to be going. It's got some fresh pig tracks in it, so I'm gonna see which way this takes me. Alright, so I started following that trail. It led me out to a power line opening, and I followed it back up to the main dirt road. So I'm gonna hit this road here and follow it down to the parking location on the Riverview Road side, and then head back down towards the river from there and see if we can't pick up any sign. Alright, so there's the parking location when you're looking at the game land map. Over there is the main gate shutting the dirt road that leads down through the middle of the property off and all this. But there's another gate right here, and on the map it shows that it goes down the far eastern edge of the property. So I'm going to head down that area, see if I can find any sign along this road or down by the river. Alright, so I come down that trail leading from that field, and got on the other side of this little creek, and you can see some sign of some old rooting on both sides of the little creek bank here, and that little creek flows right here to the river. The trail leads back up through here, so I'm just going to follow it for a little ways and see what I can pick up on the way. Alright, so I followed that trail alongside the river, and all I saw was a trail with tracks. I never saw any rooting or anything like that, but it's right along the side of the river, and it gets so steep. I mean, you can't really tell right now, but it's basically a rock wall all the way down from the river all the way up here. The trail even stops down there and comes up this way, and it starts running alongside here through the woods. So I'm gonna follow that for a little ways and see what I can find. But basically all we got up here right now are hardwoods and a bunch of hills. Alright, so I've been over the majority of the property today, and I'm walking back out the service road that I used to get in here, and I came up on this looks like probably a hunter's path going back into the center of the property, but it used to be, it looks like on the map, according to which map you're looking at, an old state road, but it leads through it's like a valley, because you've got a little hill on that side, another hill right through here, and it looks wet down through there. So I'm gonna give that a shot and see if we can pick up any sign here. Alright, so I've walked up this little service road a good ways. It's on the GPS. I've really stopped seeing any type of sign. So on this side, this is the game land side, so I'm gonna start heading down through here. On the map it shows there's some fields, and it starts getting kind of some lower land. So I'm gonna start heading back down towards the middle there and hit that service road on the other side and see what I can see in between here and there. Alright, so I'm just following this creek. It looks like the creek's going to head back towards that main service road where we cut in. There's already, this is definitely a human trail here, but it gives me opportunity to see some pig tracks where it gets muddy. Alright, so I stayed on what I thought was a human's path, but there was a lot of pig tracks in it. So I stayed on it, and it cut through this brush right here. And so I followed it over, and there's a creek flowing through here. And the ground's just real messed up. You can see where they've been wallering around in there. You can see the marks from their fur all in there. So they've been all through here. It's real low, it's real wet. It's all messed up from them rooting. So it's a real good spot. Alright, so I crossed the creek and got up on another trail. This is a human trail, but it's definitely got a bunch of sign on it, a bunch of tracks, deer and pig tracks. And it led me back out here to the service road. And down this way is the parking area. But that trail, when you come back out here, it connects over here. And you can see where they're just crossing the road here, heading down through that flat area back towards the creek, the larger creek that we first started scouting. I'm back at the truck now, and here's what I know about Perkins game land. There's a lot of land out here. I walked a little bit over 12 miles today, and I still didn't get to the northeastern section of the property. I focused down towards the southwestern side. Tried to stay along the boundary lines from that permit-only section, but everywhere I went, I seemed to find some tracks and some rooting. There's several creeks that run through the property, and I kind of walked alongside of those for the most part. And on all of them, I found trails with tracks in them and some rooting. The larger creeks seem to be holding the majority of the pigs. But if you pull up a topography map and look, just look around the bottom areas of these ridges, the way that the land is contoured around it, and that's pretty much where the pigs are staying. They're using these creeks to cut through the property to get from one section to another because it's low, and again, it's got food source for them. But again, they're sticking mainly down towards the river and the larger creeks that flow into the river. But land's got great potential. I know if y'all come out here, you'll probably get you one. I would suggest coming out here during deer season when you've got a rifle, a little bit longer range than buckshot, because again, there's some areas in here that are great to set up on, and they're really good if you've got a long range rifle, something that'll reach out 100 maybe 150 yards. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Give me some ideas of what you want to see in the next videos, or where you want to see me go next. But until next time, happy hunting.